Hello, it's me, and I'm going to go over this 4x4 mix-up cube. I did a 3x3 mix-up cube a while ago, and I didn't even know that they sold this. When I found it, I said, well, why not complete the series? So what again is a mix-up cube? Well, a mix-up cube does all your usual 4x4 twists and turns and pitfalls and whatnot, but it has another special kind of a move in addition to that. So you could just scramble it like a 4x4, do it that way, and that's fine. There's really nothing different about that. However, it can also do what a mix-up cube can do. You can go to, you can put an edge in a center area, and from there, you can, if you're really lucky, and the puzzle is moving okay, which oftentimes, this one isn't. This one is a tough one to line up and to move. It snags a lot, but in any case, you can actually turn it and do that kind of exchange. But it gets a little more complicated than that, because you can actually turn just one. So you can move it in this position here, turn it around like so. So it can lead to more kind of profound mix-upping that can happen. So you can spread it across over here. So it does add a little bit more complexity to the solve. And again, as you can see, you sort of have to struggle a little bit to decide where the lineup is. It does move pretty well once it's lined up, but it doesn't always line up great. So I'm just doing mix-up moves here. I'm putting centers where edges are supposed to be, edges where centers are supposed to be. I'm actually scrambling edges, so I'm making just an otherwise big mess of this whole thing. But I'd like to maybe get it even more messed up than it is. So what I'm doing is I'm just mixing it up even more. Maybe put this out over here. Like so. Do a mix-up move over here. So I'm going to continue doing this until we have what appears to be a pretty impressively looking scrambled 4x4 mix-up. Hocus pocus. Okay, so when I first got this puzzle, I thought maybe there's some unique tricks to this, but it's actually pretty straightforward. So I'm going to just kind of walk through the strategy. It is a pretty impressive looking scramble to those who've never seen anything like this before. So what we're going to do, the first step really is you want to take as many of the edge pieces that are in a center position and put it back into an edge position. And the way that you would do that is any time that you see a center piece that's occupied by two edges that are already reduced together, maybe not the same color, but when you see them together like this in a double as opposed to a single, try to move it to this position here. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking the center and moving it to an edge position. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to exchange this for something that looks like this. So as much as we can, take all these singlets and move them to the center, and take all these doubles and move them to the edge. So the way that I'm going to allow that to happen is to put this into an edge position. So I'm going to move this like so. So this is in an edge position. So I'm just going to take this and move this to here. I'm going to exchange it to this piece over here. And I'm going to do that by way of a normal edge swapping algorithm from the middle layer to the top layer. Now I'll also tell you that in order to do that, you have to have it facing in this direction, facing along this plane. So if you try to do that maneuver in this plane and you move it over here to exchange it, it's going to come up here in this position, and that's not really what you want. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to go ahead and move this in the edge position and do my swap. So it's simply an edge switching algorithm that you've learned in your basic 3x3 solve. U, R, UI, RI, UI, FI, U, and F. And then we move this back. So you can see this is now occupied in that position. So let's see what else. We want to move this one in. Well, let's exchange that with with this. We want to get this out of the edge position. So I'm going to configure it to where I get this on its side like so, and then exchange it with this guy. So move that center into an edge position here, and just do that algorithm. U, R, UI, RI. So basically there's no new algorithms here, we're just positioning. And that's the thing about this puzzle, is there's really no new strategy. And this moves back. Okay, now this one, let's go ahead and move this one out, exchange it with this guy. So even if it's in an edge position, you want to put it in a center position here. Alright, so before I do that, I'm going to want to turn it like this so that it's facing along this plane. And then basically put this into an edge position and swap it in there. Turn, 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 and turn. That now occupies this spot, so I put that back into the central position. Now what happened to the one that was here? That actually got plopped back into here, so that's pretty safe. Alright, so now that we've done that, do we have any more? Well, we've got this here. This is in the wrong configuration. We can't do much to this because it's going to block the motions that I want. But in the meantime, what I could do is I could move these now. The reason why I did this is because now we're moving these into the center position where I can move these into these positions. This can pair with this, and this can pair with this. And I simply move it like so in position. Now that I've done that, I've taken these newly paired pieces, and again, this just happened to be the same color, but I take these newly paired pieces and swap them with these guys here. So, once again, move it in this position and swap this out. Move this into a edge position, this will move into the central position. Turn, 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 and just keep going with this. Turn. There's a lot of snagging that happens with this puzzle, and to be honest with you, it kind of detracts from the enjoyment just a little bit. Okay, so now that's in this position here. And what I can do is I can continue. Let's say we want to put this into that position. I'll exchange it with this guy here. So, put that into the edge position. We're going to exchange with this. This will come to here. This will come up here in this edge position, and this will occupy this spot, which will become the center position. Because remember, it started here, and that's where it's going to end up. So put it here, and turn, turn, turn. Turn. Move, move, turn, and turn. We then place this into that central position until it's here. Okay, now what I can do is I can start pairing more, so this can pair with this guy, like so. So now I can take this and exchange this for, say, this one. So, move this over here, and I just keep doing this until it's all placed, all paired up. Turn, 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 and this comes back. Okay, so now I've got a whole plethora of ones that I can use. Namely, I can move this guy like so. Okay, upon doing that, I'm going to simply exchange this with this, same way. So you can see we're slowly reducing this puzzle back to a 4x4, which will in turn be reduced to a 3x3, which will be solved as such, bearing in mind various parities. Turn. I wonder if lubrication may stop some of the snagging. It moves smooth when it's lined up, but there's a lot of snagging in the meantime. Turn and turn, and then this moves back. Now, what I can do is put this one in without destroying the puzzle, and splat. Okay, so now we have the last one. This can now exchange with this. A center exchanging for a pair. Basically for what's going to be an edge. This is kind of bothersome, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, well, actually I'll do that last, but I'm going to go ahead and move this into position here and plop this down here using that same algorithm. Turn. Doesn't want to move unless it gets the proper encouragement. Turn, turn, and down. And now this comes over here. Okay, so they're all in. This is in, but it's in the wrong place. So I'm going to borrow a technique that I used from the 3x3 version. So I'm going to take this, I'm just going to move this into the central position. I'm going to bat it out of the way. And now I'm going to use this side to move this in the direction that I want. So I'm just going to move it up to here. I'm going to now put it back into my central position here, and then move it back up to here. So really I just moved it from here down to central position, moved it to this central position, rotated it any way that I wanted to get it lined up appropriately, put it back here, and then moved it back up to here. So basically what we have is a 4x4. So as a 4x4, it's solved exactly like that. I'll tell you there will not be any parodies of reduction with this. So it's going to be solved exactly the same, and it's a usual 4x4 reductive solve, which looks a little bit like this. And there you go. So just a simple 4x4 solve with that, but that was the little mix-up variation that you have with that, and that's how to kind of navigate through getting your edges back from where the centers were. If there's any other more specific questions on this, let me know. Otherwise, it's a neat puzzle. I just wish it was a little less clunky, a little bit more stable. Thanks for watching.